All right, RCB's top three, their big three, have done the business. Half centuries for Virat Kohli, Faf du Plessis, Glenn Maxwell. That was pretty much it. And they didn't need any more. They've got 212. They backed themselves. They fancy themselves at most grounds. You'd have no doubt who the team in front is, but you never know at the Chinnaswamy. 2-1-2. We look back at that score in those three innings and how Lucknow bowled on ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout. I've got Shaun, Tait and Matt Roller in studio with me. Let me quickly go to Wasim Jaffer first up though and ask him if RCB are well and truly in front with 212. It looks a big score, but we're never sure with the Chinnaswamy. Wasim, thoughts?
Well, I think they, after losing a couple of wickets, they would have probably wanted 10, 15 more, I would say. And looking at the RCB bowling, apart from maybe when Parnell has come in, but if they had a good power play, Lucknow, then you think the game is on here.
That's interesting. The first comment from Wasim Jaffer in spite of 2-1-2 is, we're not quite sure. Do you feel the same way, Teddy?
I suppose, I mean, cliche we said before, I said off air that you take that at the start of the day, which is a bit of a cliche, but going on the conditions and the way that the innings was playing out and only 2 wickets down, you probably would like a bit more, yeah.
Matt?
It's a slightly unusual score, isn't it, to have only got their 2 wickets down, but I think this kind of feels like it's how RCB are going to set up with the batting this year because of the fact that they don't have Patidar, who's such a big miss in the middle order. And you look at how that team is constructed, it sort of feels as though it's set up for the top 2 to anchor it, knock it around, do the bulk of the run scoring between them, and then for other people to play roles through the middle, so Maxwell and then DK at the death. So I feel as though RCB will feel as though it's gone near enough to plan. To script.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point Matt makes, Wasim. It looks like other teams may say, yeah, let's keep going hard because some teams may have Hetmeyer in the middle or Puran in the middle, or an inform finisher in the middle. RCB, with the way they're set up, as Matt points out, you sense this is their template, that the top 3 can keep shifting gears as long as they bat a bulk of the overs, and then if you end at 212, you're happy?
Yeah, I mean, batting first, they've lost the toss, and somebody who's been asked to bat, you would take 212 any day. So they'll be happy, but saying that, the kind of bowling which RCB has, and the problems in the death, the spin is a little light. I mean, apart from Karan Sharma, they haven't got much in other choices in the spinner, and their death bowling isn't great. So seeing that, if, like I said, if Lucknow had a decent power play, they've got a lot of powerhouse in their batting. So I feel that, it'll be a game on.
Okay, it's interesting that they have a good batting lineup to Lucknow, but let's just quickly touch upon the 3 big innings we saw. Let's start with Glenn Maxwell, Teddy, because you think this is an innings of personal significance for him to get a big score early in the IPL. We saw that 1 innings in the series against India, and we saw 1 innings, I think, earlier in the game against Mumbai, but we're not quite sure if we've seen the best of Maxwell. Big innings for him personally?
Oh, absolutely. I think, I think that just kicks him off for the competition now, and he's going to be dangerous for opposing bowlers throughout. I think once you give a guy like that confidence, or once he gets some confidence after a knock like that, he's extremely dangerous. So, he's always when he first starts his first 6-7 deliveries, he's a bit scratchy, just trying to belt everything, and then he gets 1 away, 1 6 away, and that's the end of it, sort of thing.
Yeah, 59 of 29 is where he ends, bowled by Mark Wood, but you noted an interesting breakup of how those 29 balls were played.
Yeah, I think he faced 10 balls from Wood and only scored 7 runs, which included a 6 right at the end. So you do sort of wonder why Wood's final over was held back for the 20th. I think given the problems that he was quite clearly causing Maxwell early in his innings, could they have been really aggressive and just gone 3 in a row when he bowled those two through the middle? I think it felt like a slightly defensive move holding Wood back for the death and getting Unadkat, for example, out the way almost, rather than, they could have gone for Wood, get the wicket, and then suddenly you're bowling to someone who doesn't have Maxwell's pedigree and isn't as set as Maxwell was at the end.
Yeah, we spoke about this at length, how captains figure out how best to use a bowler like Wood. You could see merit in Matt's point. Would you have used Wood any differently today?
Yeah, I would have. I still think as well that up front, the new ball, I think he bowled the 6th over. The 6th over is always a dangerous over, so it's to get that right is quite important, and he did bowl that. But I still would have, because they got away really well. Kohli got away well. I think you got to give him the new ball, whether it's the 1st or 2nd over, whatever. But give him a chance to get Kohli and du Plessis out. You want these guys out, and then I think you touched on it as well off air about maybe the 19th over.
Yeah.
If he knocks Maxwell over early in the 19th over, it looks a bit different towards the end.
Wasim, your assessment of how KL Rahul used his bowlers? Unatkar bowled one good quiet over, didn't come back till the end where he went for an expensive one. Mark Wood and his use, how do you, did Lucknow help their cause?
Yeah, I kind of agree. If you want to use Mark Wood, you might as well use him early on and try and get that wicket rather than the sixth over, which is kind of a defensive move. And again, when Munatkat bowled well, you might as well have continued. So probably they went a little bit defensive. I mean, by the time Kohli and Faf was, even though he was defensive, but Kohli had already gone into his groove. Had probably Mark Wood had come in here, got a wicket, probably it would have been a different story. But yeah, they could have gone a bit more attacking and looking for wickets because, like I said, their middle order hasn't been exposed. I mean, they haven't scored any runs. They rely on these top two or three, which made bulk of the scoring.
They went with a spin-heavy attack for the Chinnaswamy. Wasim, you were a bit surprised by the choice of that, but Mishra had a good first over, got Kohli, then went for a few in the second and did not bowl again. Ravi Bishnoi seemed to have bowled 3 good overs and then bowled a crucial 4th over that went for 20. Krunal Pandya, they got his overs out of the way. It didn't look like spin was as threatening. How does that decision look at half-time for you of Lucknow going heavy with spin?
Like I said in the preview, playing Mishra was a little surprising to me because this ground, it doesn't favor unless you've got some mystery. So I thought Virat and Faf actually played Ravi Bishnoi really well. I mean, I thought he bowled his first 3 overs really well, but they didn't give him wickets and then obviously capitalized in his 4th over. But other than that, I thought probably another seamer. You never know. It's always hard on the bowlers this ground. So I mean, you could have played anybody, but like I said, if Kohli and Faf and Maxwell gets going, you could bowl anyone and they'll go for runs.
Yeah, you said there is merit in the matchup, Matt, of playing the spinner that turns the ball away from Kohli and Faf. Spin was their downfall in the last one, different kind of spin, but today they played them better.
Yeah, I think, and actually this speaks to the point about RCB's players sort of anchoring through the innings and getting themselves set, because if you look at sort of how those spinners went, Krunal's last over I think went for 12 or 13, and then Bishnoi's last over was really taken down as well, and that does show you the value of having that time early in the innings where you can knock it around a little bit and then be destructive right at the end, and maybe line a spinner up in the way that it's harder to do if you're a new batter just coming in. Yeah,
and you normally think most batters, if they said, will take on spin. Here you've got the experience of Kohli, Faf to not necessarily go hard at them first, but good enough to cash in on them next. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, by the time Maxwell came in and the spin was on, he was just straight. First ball, he was trying to hit it for 6.
Yeah, Maxwell was different in that sense. Yeah, but so, not like Kohli and Faf.
No, I mean, sometimes as well, you can also overanalyze selections, and you pick these guys to bowl against those right-handers, and it doesn't work out. So.
Yeah. Saw some great hitting though. There's one that Faf hit off Bishnoi that went on the roof of the Chinnaswamy. You know what that feeling's like.
What, hitting it on the roof? Or being,
no.
I know what it feels like being hit over the roof. Yeah,
Linny
at the gather. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a heck of a shot, and he do it off a spinner of the back foot. Yeah.
I think and the reaction on his face as well. He even was pretty impressed with himself, I think, and Maxwell was having a good time at the other end as well. So. Yeah.
Wasim, just Faf du Plessis just continues. He's a machine, isn't he? He started so well, doesn't look retired by any stretch of imagination, and just scores runs everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so easy as well. He's one of those hitters. From the outside, it looks like he doesn't making an effort. With the other batter, it looks like they're muscling the ball. But Faf is a different one, very calm appearance on the ground, and he shifted gears really well. I mean, 33 of 30, and then the next few balls, and then he was in his destructive self. So he played the situation really well. When Kohli got going, he was taking his time, and Kohli brings a different energy. He was from the outset, he looked like he's taking the bowlers on, but Faf has been brilliant. Once he gets going, it's very difficult to bowl, and he hits to those different parts as well.
It seemed a different kind of 70 from Faf. The first one against Mumbai, almost striking at 170 all through that innings. Today was different.
Yeah, and I think Faf has done incredibly well actually since RCB picked him up, because at the time you think they were bringing in a 37-year-old new captain for 7 crore, which is not loads of money by IPL standards, but it's still a solid investment in someone who's closer to the end of his career than the start. But actually, last year he was pretty solid, and this year he's really hit the ground running as well. And that's massive for them if they can get him consistently scoring and having a 500+ run season.
I think there's a good chance he turned out to be a captaincy option too. I don't think at the time they knew Virat Kohli was going to step down. So it was nice that they had him. In a year where Chennai, funny enough, decided to change their captaincy and didn't have him, they would have been handy. Anyway, all that's water under the bridge. Virat Kohli himself. Seems like we're seeing the best of Kohli. There were different gears to that innings as well. We've illustrated that. But this is now, without doubt, Wasim, the best of Kohli, just with regards to perhaps the intent and what you're seeing for the way he approaches innings.
Yeah, I mean, he comes out, like I said, he comes out with different energy. Once Virat Kohli is batting, you feel everything is rushing. He's making the batsman run, and he's coming at the bowlers and he's taking the game on. Whereas, Faf is a different. He is very calm, and it's nice to see when Virat Kohli bats like that. You feel the game's going forward in a different pace, and it's very nice to see him getting runs.
Yeah, there's a couple of balls you saw him hit for 4 early on in the power play, and you could almost sympathise with the fast bowlers because that was almost a trademark sign that Kohli's in the mood.
He's on, and you can see and Wasim's right. I mean, his body language. As soon as you see him busy and looks in control and that chest out, strutting with confidence, the bowlers are in a bit of bother.
All right. The impact sub has been activated by RCB. Karan Sharma's come in. Badoni came in pretty quickly towards the end of that innings. Once I think it was decided that Amit Mishra was not going to bowl more, so they were alert to it at least. Were LSG. They have been throughout with it. So they'll have at least the leg spin of Karan Sharma. They have the part-time spin if they wanted of Shahbaz Ahmed or Glenn Maxwell. And there's 213 with a good batting lineup. So let's see what predictions are for our panel. Wasim, let's start with you. There's an informed Lucknow batting lineup. Siraj is the new ball. How do you think this game's going to go?
I'm going to go with Lucknow. I feel they're going to chase this down.
Wow, that'll be something. 213 chase. We saw score of in excess of 200 chase yesterday at Ahmedabad. So this would be some game. Matt Roller?
I'm going to back RCB's bowlers. I reckon RCB by 20 or so.
By 20 or so. We're also going to see Wayne Parnell for the first time today. It's not the ideal bowling attack you'd have predicted for RCB, like Matt said. I wonder if that affects your prediction.
Yeah, and because of that, I'm going to go Lucknow as well. Although my prediction, what did I predict? 175, I think. So whatever I say, just pick it up and put it in the bin, I think.
Yeah, all right. I'll level it up. I think they might just fall short here. 212 looks good, but Lucknow have the resources to get it. I think RCB will have the runs. That's always an advantage. It is the Chinnaswamy. Let's see who stands where at the end of this game. Big thank you to Shaun, Tait, Matt Roller and Wasim Jaffer. More from them at the end of the game on ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. Download our app. It'll have you covered with everything that's happening in this run chase. There might be some a case for some funky moves as well in case someone wants to go up and down the order. Remember, there's a Deepak Hooda slightly short on form. At what point does Nicholas Puran come in? Marcus Stoinis. So questions that we'll get the answers to over the next 20 overs. We'll see you then.